video, I'm going to take you from the beginning up to the part where we record our voiceover for this voiceover practice project. So if you haven't already, click Create New Project and name it Voiceover Practice. And make sure that you have it directed to your video production files. If you don't know how to do that, go back and watch the previous videos. Click OK. Now I already have one there, so I'm just going to replace it. And it's going to replace that, no big deal. My window, I'm going to resize that. I will have my screenshot here. Here's the screenshot I took earlier. If you don't have one, you can take one at this moment, but make sure it's the right size and make sure that you're on the default editing layout. But I'm going to move this so I can see my screenshot. And I'm going to just import by dragging this to my project panel. So click and drag this to my project panel, and then it shows up here. Mine is in list view right now. Yours might be in icon view. I prefer list view. There's also the freeform view, but for me, list view. And I'm going to rename this. I click once and then click again, and I'm going to name this Premiere UI. And then that's there. And every now and then I'm going to make sure I hit save. Premiere does not save automatically. Another way you could have done that is you could have double clicked right here in this area, and you'll get a window directing you to look for whatever your file is. I know mine happens to be on the desktop, so I would just click that, but I already have it. Another way would have been to go to the file menu and go down to where it says import, and then again you get the same window feature looking for your material. So now I've got a media file, and if I double click this, it's just going to show me up here in the source monitor what it is. This is not any editing, but that's just my source. I'm getting a better look at what's right here. To create a new project, I'm going to drag this over to the right and let go, and when I do that, you'll notice a few things happen. First of all, I get a new file here created, and it has a different icon. This one has like a media file icon, and this looks like a little miniature timeline with audio and video tracks and a playhead similar to this thing going through that all. If I switch to icon view, you'll see that now there's a film strip here and a sequence item right there indicating what they are. Now they look the same because, well, that's all there is. There's only one thing in there. But if it was video file, you would see. All right. I'm going to switch back to list view. Over here, hopefully you notice that we had some video tracks created and audio tracks. By default, we get 3 video and 3 audio, but there are many, many more depending on your memory and how big you want your project to be and how involved it is. And this area works from the center out. So across the middle is a thicker gray line, and above it is video 1, video 2, video 3, and then below, counting down, audio 1, audio 2, audio 3. And when we import or when we drag a still image into a timeline, the default length is 5 seconds. And I'll show you how to change that later if we ever do a slideshow. And we can change the length of this by just clicking and dragging. We're going to need it to be about 30 seconds. I'm going to go ahead and drag that to what I think. In the past, I've recorded myself. I've had it right around 30 seconds. So we'll just do that and see how well I do. All right, so make sure your playhead, we're going to record the voiceover next. Make sure your playhead is at the beginning. Just click that and drag it. Wherever it is, click and drag. And we're going to right click on this, but I want you to see a menu. So I'm going to drag that up a little bit because my menu drops down a lot. So right click on this microphone and go to voiceover record settings. And here are the settings. First of all, it lets me give a name. So maybe, I don't know, I'll just call voiceover. That's kind of generic. It should be more descriptive. And then here, what source? Okay, it's going to use my microphone, the system default. I could have another, some hardware attachment, like an audio mixer, and it would be my source. The input would be the actual microphone. In this case, they're both the same. And notice as I'm talking, it's bouncing between the -6 and the -12, which is perfect. That's what I want it to be. And I'm going to close this. From past experience, I know that as soon as I click this, it's gonna record, but from past experience, I know there's going to be some feedback. So I'm going to mute my speakers just by hitting the mute button on my keyboard. It's the top right area. There we go. So now my speakers are muted. My playhead's at the beginning. I'm going to click record, and I'm going to go through my little 25-30 second narration. This is the Adobe Premiere interface. At the top, you'll see a list of layouts. We will do most of our working in the editing layout. In the top left is the source monitor. Over here in the right is the program monitor. Below that is the timeline. And to the left, in the bottom left area, is the project panel. This small one right here is the tool panel. And this one right here is for audio meters. Now what happened? Hang on. Interface. What happened? This is the Adobe Premiere interface. At the top, you'll see a list of layouts. We will do most of our working in the editing layout. Something went wacko, so I'm going to delete those. I don't know what happened, but I'm just going to, maybe because I clicked over here. So let me try that one more time. I'll mute and I'll hit record. This is the Adobe Premiere layout. At the top, we have different workspaces we can choose from. In this area right here is the source monitor. Right here is the program monitor. Below that is the timeline. Bottom left area is the project panel. This small area here is the tool panel. And this on the far right is the audio meter panel. There. It must have been because I clicked. Now let's see how well I did. Did I get right at? Nope, I was a little bit shorter. So no worries. I'm going to go back. I'm going to turn my speakers on so I can now hear them. And I'm going to play it from the beginning. This is the Adobe Premiere layout. And you'll watch, see that sound level's good. I don't need to hear the whole thing. There's no need for me to have all of this silence. Right there is where I start talking. I would like maybe just a little bit before that. So I'll put my playhead there as kind of a guide. And when I click and drag, this will it'll magnetically snap to that playhead. And I'm going to do the same thing with that. Okay, and I'm going to go to the end and play just the end to make sure I got it. Panel. And this on the far right is the audio meter panel. Okay, so right after I say audio meter panel, you can tell I said it kind of quietly. Panel. I'll wait like half a second, hit the space bar right around here, and then trim everything to the space bar. Right is the audio meter panel. So I just tap the space bar, snap that there, click here, and then you'll notice, okay, it's all good except I've got this gap before anything starts where it's all black. So a couple ways you can do that. You can just drag a box over the top of all these and bring them there. Hang on, I think my playhead was in the way. Make sure they go clear to the 0. I don't know if you noticed, but I was having a hard time getting it there, so I moved it. The other way is you can click, I just hit undo. You can click the gap here. So there's a space right there, but you can click it and delete it, and it'll snap back to position. And I can see my whole thing is about 24 seconds long, and I'm going to hit save. You should do that often. And there's not much left to this part. In the next video, I'll show you how to export.